We got fittings for the month of November. Got a few new things into the shop. Did some quality builds, I must say. And we're going to talk about fittings all next in What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McClear here, and this is the What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I am no different. It's about what's in my drawers in the shop, and we talk about golf club repairs, golf club reviews, and golf club fittings. Also, your scores can go low, and a lot of other things in between, by the way. And that's what we're going to be doing here. So what we normally do is we'll talk about the golf going on. There is still golf being played, isn't there? I can't pronounce the guy's last name, but it seemed to be a very emotional win. So congratulations to him. I saw where Padraig Harrington won on the senior tour, and by a lot. Congratulations to him. As you can see, I'm sporting a different hat. Jay from Maryland. Mm-hmm. He sent me this bad boy. Charlie, I know you're going to like that one. Naval Academy Golf Club. And he also sent me this bad boy. This is fancy. Look at that one. Eat your heart out. All leather. Made by Callaway of all things. So that might actually fit right there. So not too bad. So that's a lot. Thank you, Jay, for that. It was a very nice present. I appreciate it. All righty. So as we go through that, some of the things that was going on is Mrs. McGolf. We had a customer come in that we fit some 10 odd years ago, maybe more, and he needed his clubs regripped. And I'm here to tell you it probably was about 10 years ago since he had his last set of clubs on. So if we look here, and you see, I know it's sideways, and there's tape on all the shafts, but you see those little markers? Those used to be the shaft labels that we would put on everything to show what we built. I'm just so amazed that it's still on there. Just like right there, the golden one right there. And then it was we had V2s back in the day. Tells you how old that club is. This one is an I-rod. See if we can see it. Yeah, is an I-rod. If you look at there closer to the clamp. Another UST shaft with a gold marker on it. And I'm sure he put on about the same type of grips. So
he went bigger.
Win LT. So I got Mrs. McGolf here to the left, so we're probably going to get a whole lot of extra comment.
Friendly chatter.
That's what she calls it. All righty. So got back from the trip, obviously, and we're starting to play a lot of catch up. We did a truckload of repairs, switching shafts, that kind of stuff, and fixed a few broken clubs. And then we got into some sets that we had to do because they've just been here too long, right? And the first one was a set of P790s in left hand, and they were for a guy in Pennsylvania, for a golfer in Pennsylvania. And we put, and what he did was, all he wanted me to do was take the clubs apart, spine and flow them, make sure that they were the right loft lie kind of thing, and then send them back. If I could pop off all the grips and all the other things. Well, there's the grips, and yes, I was able to pop them off. So good for me and good for him. And then we had the recoil shafts in there, the ESX, as you can tell, in the regular flex. And as you can tell, the logos are in a lot of different orientations. And that would be true of UST in a lot of cases where they're not all in the same spot. And normally what happens, I find when I was working with them a lot, I would get into runs where they're all down the same spot. And then I would get in runs that are just hodgepodge. What I'm assuming is there's more than one line down there. And what I was doing is I got it from one maker as opposed to another. And then what we did here is I took off the original ferrule, and the original ferrule that comes with these are not very good. they're not very good in the sense that I don't think they look good. They're like 1 inch, maybe even longer. They had a really awful taper to them. So we did this, and pardon me again. And then I think it gives it a much better look. Now, the only problem is when you switch ferrules, you always have that tendency to leave a little bit of the goo around the top from the ferrule. Now, in this particular instance, there is some there, and I rubbed a lot of it off with acetone, but I don't want to rub so much that I rub the ion plating off, so I left it as is. What'll eventually happen is it'll wear off. So we're gonna, because of the glue that they use. The other one, and which will be the subject of this week's video coming up. And again, like, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below. And that way more of these videos get out to the YouTube universe, and it helps grow the channel. Anyway, so this is going to be the topic of this week's video, and it is a set of Apexes, brandy spanking new Apexes. And they are 2 pros, which you see at the top, and the rest of them are the cavity backs. Now, it was an informational working build the entire way. They had Elevate tours in there. I've never seen an Elevate tour before, so it's either proprietary to Callaway or True Temper just came out with it. So I'm just going with that.
The new ones.
And so that's where they want. But he didn't want those. He wanted something a little heavier, I'm guessing. And so we went with the Accra TZ 105. Oh, wrong one. TZ 105s. And we talked about that when he was talking about 95s, and he's talking about all these others, and ended up going with the 105s. Now, the way that the Accra is made, the TZ plays just a hair stiffer than advertised. And I know that because I got the 95s in mine, and they are stiff. So these were going to be a little bit more so. Now, and this is part of this video that's coming up. Stiffness is a relative metric or parameter when you're talking about golf clubs, in that one maker's stiff could be another's R, could be another's X. And even within that same family or different, based on what you want the shaft to do, the profiles could be radically different. So, for instance, if I take a KBS Tour 90 and an S Flex and a KBS Tour in a 120 in stiff, and I measure them the same, they will not be anywhere near the same. And that's because of the profile. The profile is in the 90 is butt soft, so when you're clamping that part of it and that's where you're twanging it from, it's going to give a softer feel or softer flex than one that's butt stiff at the back end, and it's going to want to do like that. Now, and that's part of knowing what the profiles are. The TZs happen to be a stiffer profile. But what I did for them is I soft stepped them and gave them a bit of, so it'll have a softer feel with still the same amount of punch. So we got those. Found out some really cool information about the CBs and the pros that are very, very interesting. Then we put on the BB&F ferrules. I've seen these before. I put them on somebody else's clubs. That we know for sure. And then we finished them off again with the same wrap style. So how about that? So the Callaway Apexes have a collar, and it's a deeper collar, and it's a deeper collar than, say, the average one. It's a little bit more. And so what they had was, the BB&Fs don't have that collar. So I had to cut off some other collars and then shape them to the top of the hosel in order for everything to fit together. And it worked out. So it turns out that this became probably one of the more custom sets, with giving custom shafts, custom trims, custom ferrules, custom lengths because he wanted a different length. And then we adjusted the pros to be more like the CBs, so they were in line. And man, pardon me. And so it turned out to be a really nice set. It's on Instagram. I gave it some additional effects. It actually turned out pretty cool. All righty, so we got that. So now into the topic. Mrs. McGolf just announced to me when we were coming in that the schedule for February or for November is this. The pattern in November is full, Ghost Rider, and in November for us that's only happened one other time, and it was last year, as a matter of fact. And it was so we're really just kind of humbled at the fact people want to keep coming here, but and then do these several different kinds of fittings. So that's really kind of cool. So the question here is, do you really think it's worth getting a fitting at the end of the year? I'm asking you guys. And what would be that? And what would be that? So there's two lines of logic here. You've golfed all year. You figure you got your swing as much as you're going to get, and now's the time to go get it. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that logic whatsoever. And if you're a person that's going to grab them and I'm going to give them to you, are you going to practice through the winter? Or are you going to put them in your bag and let them set and then go out and then be rusty and hopefully realize that it's the guy at the end of that golf club and not necessarily the golf club when you first start? That's my biggest fear. Or are you going to do it in the middle of the season when you're halfway behind you and halfway in front of you, or in the beginning? What do you guys think? Let's figure this one out. All righty. So a fitting's a fitting. It's not going to stop the process, not going to stop where it's at. It's really just when the people come in, it's all about giving them a comfortable mindset when they're coming in. And right now it's been pretty good. Like today, here we are in November, and it's November 6th, I believe. And it's 75 degrees here. It's unseasonably warm. We're going to pay for it somewhere. I just don't know where. And hopefully we can do that. So let's get into answering some questions. Oh, and next week we got Matt coming down. Saturday. There's Matt. Shot a 75 on the number 2 rated public golf course in Ohio. Really happy with that score. As we get into the winter months, what equipment changes will you push for yourself in 24? Well, for me, I'm going to check out my grips. I did the Jumbo Max thing. I'm kind of, I'm happy with some of my scores. Not all of them, obviously, but I'm happy with my scores. I got to do an experiment now. Now I've been I gave it one full year, and I said I would. Now I'm going to go back to a different set of grips just to see if I can find the middle of the club face. With this particular issue, I found the toe a lot. Now I want to know if the toe is because of me or is it because I changed this to this big grip. That'll be worth the tell, and then we'll go from there. I'm also going to look at. I'm probably going to look at some new hybrids. I just didn't get along with the Paradigms as much as I thought I would. They hit fine, but they're just not. I don't have that confidence boost with them, so we'll have to see what that's in. Outside of that, digging on the putter, like the driver. The irons are doing fine except for hitting them on the toe. Digging the wedges. I got that J grind in the sand wedge. I like it a lot. So happy with those. Mr. Anderson, how are you, sir? Thank you for staying up so late in the Fife, Scotland area. Bit soggy. Hey, good show last week. Plenty of chat and onwards and upwards. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. In fact, I was just showing somebody yesterday about the tattoo, and showing him what I was showing my dad. I was showing my dad about the tattoo and because after a while they publish it out there, and I got to see him. I got to him to see the what the beginning was like. So it was really kind of neat. Emmanuel, how are you, sir? Good evening, Robin, Jim, and the rest of the McGolf disciples. Great score, Matt. My change for 2024 is one less wedge. I have a pitching wedge of 48, a 54, and a 60. We'll focus on the 54 and 60 as my go-to. I find that funny, Emmanuel, because I can remember back in the day when pitching wedges were 48. I don't know. You could go to let's see, I don't know what the pitching wedge is, but if you went 5, you went 60, you would still need all 3. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, let us know how that works out. Shot 92 on Saturday, longer course and greens had been aerated and top dress was like putting in a sandbox. Sunday shot a 77. Go figure. Well, that's just getting used to it, man. I wanted to play yesterday, but we had to finish the club build as I was took Saturday off to go visit my boys up in Columbus. Me and Miss McGolf went up there and got to visit with a little bit of family for the time being. So just took the whole day off. Matt says, thanks, Emmanuel. I think the evolution of the 45-degree or less pitching wedge has changed the fabric of the set, and he would not be wrong. And the number 2 rated course in Ohio. I'm trying to figure out what that is. Is that trying to figure what's up there by you that you got to play the number 2 course? It's not Inverness, is it? It'd be nice to find that one out. Or is it Firestone? Another great round, Matt. Excellent for not getting a lot of time on the course during the summer. Yeah, I would agree too. Charlie saying hello. I changed up a little bit this time, Charlie. This is Weller's Special Reserve. And I'll say it's okay. Speaking of that, has anybody heard of what they call the Bourbon Trail? And if you have, let me know that too, because Miss McGolf and I have scheduled our 40th anniversary to visit the trail for 2 days. We'll see what that's all about. Yep. Matt, thanks, Charles. The co-host of the PGA event in the 40s and 50s. The green complexes were tough and fast. Well, all right. And that's a righteous question, Charlie. What would you replace the wedge with? Here's Mr. Moody. Hi, Robin and Jim. Just got back from my last game of the year, a deceiving 89 on a Sunday, but chilly 41 degrees. It is snowing right now in Montreal, Canada. Well, it's not too far north of here, Michael. It's starting to snow too, so that's just right for Matt. I mean, he'll just broom away the snow and keep playing. But yeah, it's coming around, isn't it? All righty. Shot 73 with a triple and a double. Wow. With 5 birdies, 28 putts, and 74 in a tournament on a course for the first time, 3 birdies. Love the Makefield putter. New driver is working well also. Good for you, bud. Good for you. There's Mr. John Cherry saying hello to everybody. Here we go. As far as winter months, I'll be going with a hand warmer and winter gloves, not to mention 3 layers when it warrants it. You guys are impressive. You guys are impressive a bunch. I think I've been in the mid 40s. I think that's my limit. And it's just because I don't like a whole lot of wearing layers. I'm not a layer. I mean, when I go out, I like wearing layers, but when I'm golfing, I do not. All right. Emmanuel's not replacing a longer club. He have driver, 2 wood, 4 wood, 7 wood, 5 hybrid. Oh, I get you now. Matt uses rain gloves on both hands during the cold rounds. Just layer up after that. And take that abbreviated, well, I guess when you take an abbreviated golf swing, layers isn't so bad. Yep, Charlie says Scotty's doing good. Very well. He says, I want one wedge I can use 75 yards in and say, I got this shot to stick within 6 feet or less. Ooh, yeah. Scotty's on a mad search for the club that goes between the driver and the hybrid. Has been in search for a long time now. Manuel saying nice round. Scott saying thanks. Check the links of those two clubs and find a fairway right in the middle. There you go. And that is Manuel. Now that's taking it to the course. Positive thoughts matter. There was something else somebody mentioned about that. I was listening to the radio, and he was a tour player, and he had said something that really made sense to me. And it was for I think they were talking about Camilo Vegas, Camilo. I can't say his last name. Anyway, he's been out for a while. He finished number 2 at this tournament lately, and he's talking about playing with confidence. And when you play with confidence, you go in there thinking you're going to make these shots as opposed to wondering if you're going to make these shots. And that's big. I can remember doing that twice this year. They need to do more of it, I believe. And that way you're able to pull off more shots, sink more putts, that kind of thing, hit more fairways. Victor Perez Jr. Good evening, Jim and Robin. I have a question. Aerotech steel fiber iron shafts FC and I series. Okay. I know one's a little bit more one's more geared towards the player and the other one is not. Nice hat. You like that? Old trucker style branded bills. There they are right there. I did the mini pearl and left that on there. But the Naval Academy Golf or Country Club. I didn't even know the Naval Academy had a country club. So that was a neat one. And then that's not so bad either. I kind of like that a lot. That's pretty cool. Robin talking back to some folks instead of me. Yeah, it is very cool. I like this. It's a trucker's hat. I'm not real big with the little plastic snaps on the back, but I like the tall hat up here. And it's hard to find in the Velcro with this unless you're going to go ancient time. Charlie saying nice club cover. Yes, it is. I agree. Okay, drivers 44, hybrids are 37. Anything longer off the ground is a big issue. To get in the air, I can hit it up off the tee with no issues. Okay.
That's our Scott.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Weaver, how depressing. It's dark. No one's playing outside. Yep. And first day on TrackMan Indoors tourney. It's strange to have McGolf on the top TV and it's dark in the windows, isn't it though? And it's only a half an hour into it. It's not even 6 o'clock yet. Man, hey, that was it. There's another one. How did everybody do the fall back? Or are you in one of those 2 states that don't do it? And when we lived in Indiana, we lived right on the line, right on the time change line. Right, it went right through Indiana, and it wasn't straight. It was all waggly and stuff. And so the town just decided not to do it.
But it's back.
And we would play, and during the summer, it would be light till 10:30 at night, and go forever. However, when you didn't do it, and during the winter, it would get dark like at 4 o'clock. So there's your, for those who don't like the time change, there's your difference in it. So it's a different animal to be sure. And falling back, oh, I got that extra hours of sleep. How many actually did that? I got 30 minutes.
Emmanuel sent this today. I forgot to show you. Happened in Ping, he says.
Oh, very cool. There's a new one. So if you remember the one where I had to destroy the TaylorMade adapter because there was so much verdigris in it, Emmanuel sent me a picture of one he had on a Ping. Look at that bad boy. That's a Ping adapter with a whole bunch of white on it. That is a lot of verdigris, man. Mark Ranson, hello from PA, and thank you for your service on my TaylorMades. Ah, there you go. Very cool, Mark. So they came out pretty good. I'm going to say that we had to turn them as we thought we would have to. I got all the grips off. They all came off. Thank you to TaylorMade using the water soluble tape. That made it easy for them to come off. And then we just turned them and put them back in. Now, again, like I said, I used just a hair shorter. It's like this much shorter ferrule, and on some of them, you'll see little, like almost a clear gold tinted type stuff, and that's the remaining glue. I wiped off quite a bit. I just was afraid to wipe off any more, and but it will eventually wear off. But they did look good. I was really tempted to hit them, but Mrs. McGolf took them from me too fast and put them in a box. So I didn't get there. There's Robin. Hello, Victor. My dog Rex. I drove Mom's car from Columbus to the Villages over the weekend wearing shorts and barefoot on the patio is how I prefer to learn from Jim. There you go, buddy. That's what we want. That's what we want. Very good. John Lamb, question on the UST V iron shafts. Have you had any experience with them? The V irons. I can't say that I have. If they're brand spanking new, no. We unfortunately they had had manufacturing issues, and we just decided it wasn't worth it to fight them all the time, so we just got out. Nice shafts, just didn't want to deal with it. But the V shafts, if you're talking like in the irons, I don't have too much experience with them. In the drivers, yeah, but not in the irons. Good evening, Robin, he says. And just look at those fancy ferrules. I know I did another set with that exact same makeup. I just can't remember what it was.
It's probably his. It's about the third set he said.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was his. And the putting together is I'm getting better. Well, Robin's saying hit that thumbs up, guys. Jim Lamb. Also, hi, guys. It's warm here a bit in Calgary. Actually got an email that 2 of the courses are open on temporary greens this week. A bonus. Hey, look at that. So there is golf to be had out there. What do you guys think? Do you think there's golf over in where did we end up going? Vancouver? I'm told that the Vancouver's weather pattern is more like where we are right here. And if that's the case, they should still be playing at the McCleary Golf Course. That's in Vancouver. Okay. Scotty, nice hat, Jim. The advanced electronics class. Oh, he finished the advanced electronics class with a 96. And now in limbo where he goes next. Ooh. Well, he just made chief. He just finished in advanced electronics. So he's been out there a while. It's probably the next duty station. And he's doesn't seem to be a submariner, so he's got a few places he can go. Let's hope that he doesn't end up too far south. There's a couple places I never wanted to go, and there's places I always wanted to go. I always wanted to go to Hawaii, but we never could get there because everybody else was there. It was a wanted duty station. Also thought that Scotland might not be a bad thing, but it was too far away from home, basically. Even if you brought your family over, it was really kind of a weird situation because you lived in a fishing village. So that was there. So basically, I did the standard stuff. We were in Norfolk, and then we were in Washington State at the sub base. Although I got to say though, I made 2 stops in San Diego. That place is pretty nice. They do take care of this. They do take care of their city there.
They did. That was 40 years ago.
No, it was not 40 years ago. It was just a couple years ago.
Couple.
Old
Really?
woman. John Lamb, better get down to them before the weather changes. It's that time of year. You are not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. Andrew K. He says hi all. We say hi right back. What GPS golf watch do you recommend? Andrew, I'm a rangefinder guy. I normally don't use a watch. However, I've been around some guys that like using the watches, and a couple of the more popular ones seem to have been working the best because the way you're able to download the courses. Okay. Now, I want to say Bushnell, but I don't think that's right. Garmin. That's probably the one. Garmin. Now, I will give you an alternative. An alternative to that is if you go look at it, it's a company called Blue Tees, and Blue Tees started off with a rangefinder. However, they've expanded across a lot of different zones. You know, they got the speakers if you like that sort of thing, but now they have this little carry-on. It's about this big. It's like a small. We'll call it. It's like a small little TV controller. It's about this big, about this wide, about that deep, and it can either magnet onto the side of the golf court or you can put it in your pocket, and it gives you the same info that a watch would give you. But I would look into those as well. Dennis Hood, hello there, buddy. Robin answering on the other side. I know, right? You are not wrong. Maybe it's this stuff. Maybe it's just Weller's, and I'm not made for this stuff. I don't see you drinking any of it.
They won't have
There you go. The peanut gallery needs to be quiet on that one. All right, Tiger 168 wants to know what's the chemical you put on the on the soft grinding wheel when you polish the ferrule. Oh, it's so once it's finished, then I hit it with acetone, but that's not on the wheel. Okay, the chemical, it goes on my some 2x2, 3x3 paper towels, and then I wipe it gently to get rid of some of the markings that may have been made by the felt belt.
What about the spray thing?
Now that's what I'm talking about. That's what I said. And then then on the polishing wheel, what that is not a chemical per se. It is a polish, and it is a yellow polish, and it's a yellow polish that I get from Grizzly, and it's a super high grit polish. And it's above 1,000. And what they use it for real, other than this, is they use it to polish guitars with it. They'll put it on this polish on a buffer, and they'll buff the guitars out with it, and it gives a bit of a coating on it as well. But that's what it is. It's a yellow polish from Grizzly, and it has an H number. Okay, it has an H number on it. I just don't know what it is. It's like 1/8. It's like 4 digits, and there's a 1 and an 8, and I believe a 2 in it. All righty. Mark saying get well soon. Or no, Robin saying get well soon to Mark. Manu, how do you trim a collar from a collared ferrule and use it in the hosel? Well, if you watch the video tomorrow, Manuel, you will see. That's one of the things that we talk about. But basically what I do is I take a utility knife. You could take an X-Acto blade, and I just cut the collar clean off of it, and then I put it into the crevice in the shoulder, and if it sticks out, I put it against the felt belt and then trim it down. I used to use a sanding wheel, but then I realized the sanding belt, but you would remove metal if you got too close, and the felt belt doesn't do any of that. So that it turned out to be a much better thing. Apparently, got a few folks on Facebook. All right. Look at Scott. Scott being a smart aleck, he's saying lucky for him there's no off season in California. It's just the rest of us are jealous. All righty. John's telling Charlie that they've already made 2 tee times. Get him early so we can play when the day is a tad warmer. You better believe it. All right, Jody Rise. Here's a new one. Welcome to the show. Whatever happened to aluminum shafts? Had Dynacraft irons and Easton shafts, and I love them. Well, aluminum shafts went the way of the dodo. They don't make them anymore. Very much like graphite. Well, they were the way the original graphite shafts were made, that were actually made by Shakespeare at the time. It was about the same time frame. The stuff that they made back then, it was actually not graphite, but actually carbon fiber. I know that's a play on words, but that was the thing of the time when they were made out of fishing poles, and they would break religiously. And when they went to graphite, they got better, and then when they got the strands, and you know the evolution. Aluminum shafts were porous and brittle, and turns out that they were not nearly as good as steel. You would think, well, they're a little bit lighter. True. However, they're probably a little bit thicker in order to give the same kind of movement that the steel would do. So they just found out that steel was a lot easier to use, a lot better for the golfer, and that's what they did. And that's where that went. Now, Dynacraft is no longer around either. They got bought up by I want to say Hideki, but that's not what it's called. It's another golf club company. They're literally out of the East, but their headquarters is in California, and one of the largest golf club head makers on the planet. And it'll come to me here in a minute. But the guys at Dynacraft, there's some really good guys. Jeff Jackson, those guys, they were a bunch of Jeffs. They're actually really good guys. Charlie talking to John Lamb. John saying, hope we're both well. I'm starting to get a cold.
Who is?
Me. No. End of the year fitting is not my cup of tea because it does not have all the changes that I want to make while in the playing season, as you don't try to change during the mid-season, only after the season. There you go. Good call. Frank Wanzi or Wonzi. Howdy. How you doing, bud? Charlie's going to try a fairway wood in the same loft. Jim, you may be surprised how easy it is and how fun they are to hit. Never been much of a fairway wood guy. I was when I first started golfing. All of a sudden, what happens is I de-loft my club too much, and I get onto the top of the club. I don't know, man. I think it was just I was having a couple of bad days with the hybrids, and I just shipped them off, and now I'm paying for my lack of patience. And so hopefully this next round that come out, maybe I'll be able to find some. The ones that really, of course I like the Callaway product, but that Wilson stuff is really not too bad.
It's Hariko. Both of these guys have told you.
What's that?
It's Hariko.
Hariko, that's it.
You've been told by your people.
Good. Heading to the Legends in Myrtle Beach next week. We'll see how that goes. Well, be careful going down, man. Are you flying or are you driving? Either way, be careful. And the Legends will be fun. We almost went that direction. We had the Glenfiddich and the Shaftesbury Glen. That was 2 really good ones we enjoyed. Dennis Hood. I found the jumbo grips made me grip harder, which might cause a toe hit. I used mid-sized tacky grips, which caused me not to grip, and it works for me. I don't, there for a while, that did happen to me, Dennis. I found myself squeezing the crud out of them. And then when I let go of them, I was still doing the same thing. I was just more comfortable. So, but I am going to try it. I'm kind of hoping that's what it is. Fitting will work anytime. It would be easier on the body during the middle or the end. There we go. Sleepy Hollow is the number 2 course in Ohio or number 2 rated course in Ohio? Sleepy Hollow. Now, I know of Sleepy Hollow. I just didn't know it was rated number 2. Well, very cool. I would have guessed, Charlie, I'd have been right there with you. I would have guessed Firestone. I would have figured Muirfield or the country club would have been number 1. And then there's a big competition between the TPC down in Cincinnati and then maybe Firestone. And there's another big country club in the Northwest. I would have figured they would have had a shot at it as well. All right. My Jumbo Max experiment didn't work all that well. Did keep it on the driver, though. Takes a lot of my trying to manipulate hands through the ball. Yes. I found it. I was really good with the driver with that, so it's staying on that for sure. Ah, here we go. Public, number 2 rated Public. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Peter's on here from Myrtle Beach. Played the Heritage and shot a 77. We're waiting for the BGT to show up, Peter. As soon as it does, it's getting put together. Peter sent me a putter. We're going to try and turn it into a broomstick, so to speak. And he sent one, and I saw the logo on there, and I immediately thought it was a Mira. And then I saw the lettering as the BJM, and it's the same grip that my buddy Bob uses that impressed Peter. And now he got a putter by him, so we'll see how this one works out. Charlie, heard of the Bourbon Trail? Sounds like a good trip. Yeah, we've been looking into it. It starts in Louisville and right next to the Louisville Slugger building. So there's a museum on one side and the first distillery across the street. And then we're only doing 2 a day, and for the next 3 days. What's the over and under on the number of bottles I bring home? Keep in mind, Mrs. McGolf is going with me, and she's getting a bottle as well, particularly if they're in the unique category. So that's six distilleries, 2 people. I'll give you an over and under on 15. How many is over under and 15 bottles make it back home? Oh, Ms. McGough, she threw out 20 because she heard a couple of these places make gin. So and these flavored, and should be good.
Vodka.
They didn't say vodka.
Yes,
They said gin.
50.
No, you're not going to bet me 50.
Vodka.
David DeFeo. Really? Okay, vodka. That's even worse.
And creamy bourbon.
So there you go. David thinks we are. Okay. Terry Lockwood playing the next 2 days, probably the last rounds till spring. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. And tomorrow's supposed to be really, really nice here. And of course, I'm working, but I think it'll be. And then it's supposed to dip down in the 50s. Still not unplayable, just not really as nice as it is now.
And you got a rush job.
And maybe I have a rush job, but you never know.
And a fitting.
No, I don't.
Tomorrow fitting.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean I got a fitting tomorrow?
I already told you about it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Did not. See what I go through over here?
You don't listen.
So when is the first McGolf Open schedule? John Lamb wants to know. We'll have to get Mrs. McGolf on that one. Let her figure that out.
It's got to be somewhere warm.
For sure. Peter. It's cold here, 72. Yeah, listen to you. There's Charlie saying that would be fun. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Do something like make the proceeds to go to some veterans organization or something like that. I'm talking to there. Weather's been 55 to 75. Wow, it's getting cold. No, Peter, that's perfect golf weather. That's perfect golf weather. In fact, when we were down there, that's what we were running into, and it was perfect. Even Bob agreed. He liked it as well. Camilio Villegas. That's the part of it, the Villegas part I couldn't get on there.
No, honey, when we were at Myrtle Beach, it was stinking hot and you hated it.
No, I did that. Where was it that it was cool? Oh, it was Pinehurst.
Yeah.
Pinehurst was like that, and it was perfect. We have some excellent workwear, long underwear that keeps us cozy. And here you go. The toque, yep, or toboggan as we call it. You'd be correct again. All right. Scotty says his winter project is to get a launch monitor, develop 3 swings for your wedges. This helped me greatly to start birdieing par 5s more often. Well, that's a good one. Tiger's talking about Steel Fiber FC is designed for higher launch. Well, it's flight control is what that stands for. In longer irons and lower irons and the short irons. That's Steel Fiber's version of the flighted set from Rifle. And there is no, I won't say significant change, but there is a change in that set, by the way. There we go. Past my prime made it on here. Hello, Jim and Robin and the McGolflanders. There we go. There we go. John Cherry, would you say the Wilson 719M driver would be a good match with the NQX Woods hybrids? Yeah. I don't expect it to be exact. So driver is not meant to be, I don't know. It's not a single link with the rest of the set, obviously, because it needs to be longer. But you could use it for weight, and I wouldn't expect it to be. You don't want the driver to be super duper heavy, in that particular instance, because you just don't want that. You want it to be a different. We call it you want it to be a different weight so you can swing it better. Now, if you want it heavier, fine, but don't go too crazy. Manuel says he's got his launch monitor, indoor simulator, and a coach. Woohoo! Look at that. And we got Al from the Space Coast on there. All right. Thanks, but it's the length of the club is an issue. Even short with a flat swing. Truly. All righty. UST Dart. All right. Now we're talking. I do know about those. The darts are basically an updated version of the recoils, and yes, they are much better in my opinion. A little more consistent. I like as far as the look, I like the darker chrome look on them. I think that when they left, they did an improvement when they had the original model, and the next couple of following models after that were improvements. When they started going with these extra letters, I think that they kind of lost their way a little bit. And with the Dart, they kind of retooled themselves, and now they've got a much better shaft in play. Because they were going, the reason why they changed a lot is they came out just about the time hybrids started just with popularity, right? And they were trying to get something that would get into the hybrid and work well in both cases. And that's what they were trying to do. And if you look, they even have, like the ESX that we did on the irons, they have a hybrid, which is basically the same exact shaft with just a little more meat on it. And that's where they went. So they kind of fell back from that a little bit, and now they got the Dart. So it's not bad. Man, itch. Is the Callaway adapter the same dimension as TaylorMade? Because I've got 2 V2 shafts I want to pull on myself. I want to fit. Yeah, unless there's something weird about either one of them, but both of them should be 335s. TJ, if I have and like a 115 spinner shaft in my wedges, what shaft should I try in my irons? Personally, if you were going that direction, TJ, and staying in the same family of scope. If you could find them, I would go with the 105 dynamic golds. I like to see the wedge shafts just slightly heavier than the wedge shafts. That's just a personal thing. Some people like them the same. Just depends. But if you can find, I'd go with the 105 shafts in the DGs and go with that. TJ saying, "Hey, Robin." There you go. Vancouver, British Columbia should probably play much like the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, which is still not too bad right now. Jewel in Central Illinois today, 25-mile-an-hour wind. Spent most of my time hunting golf balls in the leaves. Ugh. 25-mile-an-hour winds I'm okay with. Hunting golf balls in the leaves, not so much. Sonny V says his home course closed today. It was 32. Yahoo! There's Garrett. He says the way to rangefinder's the way to go. I'm a rangefinder guy myself, and I'd agree. Sky Caddy. There's another one. Oh, now we're starting to get them. Here we go. Shot scope number 1. There we go. Look at that. Garrett says he sells the Blue T rangefinders at his shop. I've lost 2 so far, so they must be pretty good.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they must be pretty good if I've lost 2 of them. Garrett says hello. So does Jewel. Andrew K. Perfect. Thanks for the input. I'm a rangefinder guy as well. Haha. There you go. Polishing ferrules. Yes. That'll be on there tomorrow in the video. So if you want to see some more of it, and if you go look in some of the club building videos that I've done, I'll cover that as well. Joe Palace. Hey there. Out here on the course, 92 degrees, too hot for the snowbirds. Oh, man. Congrats, dude. 92. Woo. I don't know if I like that either. Howdy from Austin. Phil K. What do you say, man? Hopefully you got it all back together now. Congrats. Looking to purchase a portable launch monitor under $1,000. Do you have any recommendations? Well, right now I've been seeing. Right now, my first and favorite is the FlightScope Mevo, the Mevo Plus, and the Mevo Plus is a little bit bigger, and it's running right at 12. It runs around $1,200, but right now there's a lot of Black Friday stuff going on. And so you could probably get probably in that category the nicest one. Now, Garmin had one, and and the other one that they released that everybody was jumping on. My Golf Spy was just doing one, and everybody thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's like a stick that stands straight up, and I think that's a Garmin, but don't quote me on that. And that one goes, but I would imagine they're a bit more than 1,000. You can tone it down a little bit and get into that $500 range, and they have a regular Mevo that's about the size of a credit card, only a little bit thicker. But I would go with the Plus if you could do it. Way more stuff. It does way, 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 way more stuff. But check that out. Tiger says, thank you. You are more than welcome. And Charlie's saying 92 is too hot. I'd have to agree. Sea Stranger, love your content. You helped me a lot in my club making journey and appreciate it. Well, sir, you are more than welcome. That's kind of the intent here. Learn a little something, have a little fun doing it. Jim, I have a ShotScope H4 with belt clip and a magnetic back on to put on the rangefinder. Good bit of kit. Well, there you go. Now, I have seen those before. I don't know if it was ShotScope, but what Mr. Anderson's talking about here is, I think even Blue Tees might have something along that lines, where you put a clip on your belt and it has a magnet on it, and then what you do is you take little gizmo from on the side of your cart, which is kind of GPS like, and you can take it with you and put it on your belt, and you can look at it and check it and put it on your belt. Some of them even talk to you. It just depends on how fancy you want to get. All right, past my prime. Received a stick driver head to repair. The shaft is broken off 1 inch above the hosel. I've never heard of stick. Me either. Anything usual to be aware of on a normal broken shaft and hosel repair? Easy to burn paint. Well, I've never heard of them myself either. But the key is you'll notice on some of the less expensive shafts or less expensive heads that the paint will go all the way to the top. Now this is an adjustable head, obviously, but if you had a regular one that was a bonded club and it went all the way up, and typically it was painted all the way to the top, that means they didn't want to take a lot of time and they just painted the whole thing. It would be a warning signal to me to be careful of the paint as well. Again, if you go with 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, and then wait a minute and do another 15, maybe another 15. And honestly, you can either drill it out. One of the better ways you might try is just grab it with a pair of pliers and crunch down on the graphite and just start spinning it. And at the very least, what it'll do, one of two things it's going to do. It's going to break free and you'll be able to pull it out just by the spinning motion, or it'll break off that stuff at the top and you can start your drilling. All right. Explore Philippines wants to know, did you attend classes at GolfWorks? And do you know why they're not having classes anymore? Yes, I did. And yes, I do. I've been to 2 of them. I took their club fitting and repair class, and then I took their master's class, which they don't offer anymore. And I've been in one other one that I just participated with, not as a student though. And they're not having them because they found out that after the COVID hit, it really didn't impact them too much. So that's just what it is. And so they decided to get off of it. And again, it's just another question for me to go, why am I not doing one? All right. Robin saying hello. See stranger clapping. There's a good one. My first set of irons were Arnold Palmer's with aluminum shafts. I remember them well. Oh yeah, Arnold Palmer with that little fin on the back. Hi Rico, there's Charlie telling me that. Yep, that's it. Scott Gordon wants to know, have you ever used a putting mirror for putting practice? If so, what is your opinion? I tried one out, and the thought process isn't too bad. You just got to make sure you can still get over the line and fake yourself out, particularly if you wear glasses. Particularly if you get the ones that have the where this kind's here, this trifocals or whatever you want to call them, like those. I'd be careful of that. Does it work? Yeah, to an extent, yeah. Would I use one? No. Only because I'm normally the guy that's from the back end looking at it. Now, everybody's got an iPhone anymore, or a smartphone, we'll say, and you would be more likely to have somebody video you while you're putting, because the idea of this mirror is to make sure your eyes are over the line. So putt and have somebody directly behind you, and then you can see where your eye is in relation to the golf ball, and you can do it in about 5 seconds. I would try that first. John Kelly, some new ones out here with the clover happening. Nice. Graphite Design is looking for a tour rep. Are they really? Well, I'm too old for that. They do need to get out there a little bit more. John Jambor, thanks again for your sharing. Hey, no problem, buddy. Robin saying hello. There you go. Hyrico bought Dynacraft. Yes, they did. And Hyrico's, I mean, for what they are, not bad, right? And back in the day when Dynacraft was doing it, that was the golf club that they were doing that with. The performance factors were very, very similar. Now, I don't know what Hyrico's putting out uh, as far as product anymore, but with the advances that a lot of these OEMs are making, I would think that it might be a little tough. Although Hyrico, being the very big company that they are, could probably easily figure out how to incorporate some of that technology into their own heads. All right, Jim, have you ever tried the new AI putters from Odyssey? No, I have not. And let's just say no, I have not. I've made a phone call to my rep and wondering why. I don't know why about these too much, other than what I've seen in some marketing stuff. And all of a sudden, he's shown up on my porch this Friday. So we're gonna see. From all what I can tell is there's two kinds. There's one that's taking over the normal one with the white insert, and it appears to have the white insert on the outside, but some manipulation of where there's some weight and whatnot. And the idea here is to not lose as much speed on an off-center hit. The milled ones have a little bit more going on in them because they're using a metal in the face to give it a different feel, a different sound, and the whole thing's milled on the outside. So we'll see. Sonny V's driving down with a buddy this weekend. We'll wave as you're going by, man. Be careful. Sleepy Hollow haunted by the Headless Horseman. I'm sure they're playing off of that a little bit. When playing Parkland at the Legends, when you get the 8 box, the white T markers, turn to the right and wave. That's where he lives. There you go, man. Look at that. Could be golfers meeting each other at Myrtle Beach. Jim, when you have to try World Tour at Myrtle Beach, 27 holes. I did that. I did the 18 holes of the World Tour. I didn't know there was a 27, but we did 18 of them. So where does NCR rank? That's I don't know, but it still ranks up there pretty high. I think. I just don't know if it's I don't know top 4. I don't know if it's top 5 anymore or not. Charlie says 24 between the two of us. He's saying 24.
Okay.
He's going the high low. He's going high.
All right. Yeah.
We'll see. Robin saying hi to Pascal and Gordon and Brandon. Bring enough back balls for the McGolf Open. You never know. We probably end up doing that. Whichever one I like the most. Charlie, if I know him, Jim will have plenty not opened. You're not too wrong by that. Mm-hmm. Driver ain't got to be the same as the irons. You are correct again. Usually what happens is there typically 10-gram difference between the hybrid, the wood, and the driver. In normal sense, yes. And normally it's, well, as far as weight goes, probably not. Because if the driver, say, runs around 200 to 205, and the 3 is around 215, and then you add another 5 to 10, 5 to 10, 5 to 10, and then the driver shafts get heavier, then you're looking at around, in the fairway woods, all things created equal, but you're cutting some off.
He means the
probably shafts. Then there you go.
He means the shafts.
Oh, well, then like the shafts, yes.
That would be yes.
I just said yes.
Yeah, I'm telling
you need to listen faster.
Yes.
Listen faster. Hi, Jim. Which Callaway hybrids impressed you the most? Well, personally, I like the last iteration of the Apexes. I tried the super hybrids of that era. Didn't work out well for me. I have yet to see a super hybrid here, and I've got an Apex U Wood. I'm looking right at it, and the U Wood's a little bit longer and maybe a little flatter. I took one swing with it and I smoked it, and I turned around, I sat it back down. I said, "Well, we'll see what happens." But I would really like to see this latest Apex fair or hybrid that's out there, just for the sake of trying it out. Over. Andrew says over 15 bottles.
Oh, yeah, I know, Joe.
Ha 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 ha. Ron G says hello, Robin and Jim. No problem, bud. John. Hello, McGolflanders. Do you promote PGA Hope Folders Honor any adaptive golf events, John Jammer? We do Folds of Honor here. Mike Warble at Peter, Heritage Traditions are my favorites. There you go. Charlie, Vancouver is like the Pacific Northwest now. If you go to Vancouver Island, it's closer to California current and also a tad warmer. You have to cut your lawn more in the winter. There you go. Mike likes the bent grass greens. Ron says he's not good enough golfer to discern the right club and swing to reach a green. 130. If my watch says well, that's all I need. There you go. Same thing with a rangefinder, Ron. It says 130. Rapsodo, that's the other one I was trying to talk about. There you go. Rapsodo. Chad Fett says that is the Rapsodo. That was the one that looks like the pencil. Yes. John Lamb, is that near the Straits of Juan de Fuca? I know Juan de Fuca. Oh my God, Charlie. Oh, I can't believe you said that. I just had a flashback. John Lamb, Pastor Prime, I've had luck by drilling a hole in the shaft, heating it up, and using an easy out to remove the busted bit in the head. Yeah. If you do a little bit of heating on the outside, I mean, the paint should be able to take at least 15 seconds in a couple of areas. That'll help you out. Then we start drilling, it creates the heat on the inside. A lot of cases, the drill bit will just grab it and take it. Hi, Jim, Rob, Peter from Myrtle Beach. Love Heritage Tradition. Bent grass fairwinds like in New England, 77. Great round. It's 40 degrees when I teed off in Connecticut, and pleased to shoot an 80. Nice. Well done, sir. There we go through Robin talking to some folks. Jason, my progressive lenses messed up with my putting so badly I've switched to side saddle with a broomstick, working well for me so far. Well, that'd be good news for Peter, Jason. Now, I don't know what you've been playing with, but there is, if for those of you that are interested in side saddle, and that's where you can either put it up here and rock it back and forth, or bend over a little bit more and keep it out in front of you and do it. Bomar, all right, Bomar does that. Actually saw him at saw those putters at Mid-South while I was in Pinehurst. Did a thing with him 2 years ago at the PGA show. It's a well built putter. You just have to practice with it. If I don't talk again, happy Thanksgiving. I'll be safe. Same thing to you, Andrew. I have the AIs. They just randomly showed up. Well, look at you go, Garrett. I wish they'd randomly give me a call to ask me what I want. What do you think will be the best draw face what do you think may be the best draw face driver on the market? Whew, that's a good question. Honestly, if you really wanted something that was a slice fighter, just totally 100% made to do that, the launch pad from Wilson. They got one. That thing is closed, and everything you want it to do, it's all about making that club go closed. I would look into one of those. Garrett says they feel good because he has the insert. Yeah. we're getting close there, bud. John Lamb, 56 degree, 58 degree edge. Which model manufacturer do you feel is the most versatile from the rough fairway and tight lies? Rough fairway, sand, and tight. Jiminy Christmas, dude. That's the whole entire gambit of these things. From the rough, fairway, sand, and tight lies. John, it would depend on how you swing it, right? If you're talking about a wedge, it also depends on how you come down. If you're a guy that comes down steep and you take a lot of divot, then a wedge that may be with a little bit more sole, maybe a little bit more bounce, may be where you want to go in almost every one of those cases. Now, if you're somebody that comes in and scoops it or comes in and slides underneath the ball, something with maybe a little bit narrower sole and maybe a little bit less bounce. Okay. That being said, if you're looking something for like a utilitarian, if you're looking for like a utility type sandwich that's good overall, the can never go wrong with what they would call the standard grind. The standard grind doesn't give you any extra to move open or closed. It's just sit it down, make a wedge out of it, and away you go. Now, if you're somebody that wants to be creative with the wedge and not go too far over the edge with it, then the one that I have just recently found, and it's just because it came out, is this J wedge or the J grind, and it's on a full face. So you can miss it a lot and it'll still go. And what it is, it's got enough sole on the front not to dig and enough heel relief to open it up so you can get underneath of it. To me, that is a wedge that will allow you to do a lot of different things. All right. Robin says hit that like button. Have the Callaway UT 7 degree, love it. Goes as far as my old 3 wood. All right. Glad to hear that. Hunter Roush wants to know what are your thoughts on the D9 forged irons? How do they compare with the original ZX5s? Well, the D9 forged is going to be a little bit. I personally like the sole in the D9 forged. It's very round, right? And that to me that doesn't get stuck. In the ZXs, they have that beveled sole. To me, I've never got along with that one very well. I always liked the 7 sole, where it was a little bit thinner. I always got through the turf better with the 7 than I did the 5. They both have about the same amount of offset. I think that you'll probably find that the 5 may feel a tad better, but the 9s go a bit further. And that's about how it goes. Personally, the look of the D9 Forge doesn't bother me. I think it's a traditional golf club, so if you like that, I would go that direction. All right. Garrett likes stopping there after work. Past My Prime says, yes, Jobland, that's standard issue practice. I was mostly concerned with the sensitive paint or anything that might be the brand. I wish I knew more about them, bud. Well, yes, it is. Actually, I think it's the middle of the Strait of the Boundary. Straits of Juan de Fuca. Yep, a few of us have been there. Great question. Yep. Charlie's got D9s. He's actually got 2 kinds of them, and he likes them both. Jason's using a Mesmax 45-inch, 79 degree, loving every minute. Has excited to putt again. Well, there you go. Mike Werble, is it against the rules to face putting the hole and side saddle? Absolutely not. It is not against the rules if you're side saddling. It's against the rules if you straddle the line and try and putt it like croquet. All right. John Lamb, been there on the surface submarine. It can get quite rough in a patch of water. You are not kidding. Any new golf bags hitting the market? Should I keep an eye out for? Oh, I don't know. I mean, every year they've got, we're more of a Sun Mountain variety. And, they changed their C130s just ever so slightly, and it's about what they put on the outside. Actually, that's a 24 model right there. I like it. as far as one jumping out and taking the notice of everybody. I don't see that happening a lot right now. If you get into it, particularly for the average golfer. Now, if you're going to look at, get kind of exotic, yeah, there's a couple out there that you might want to look at, but that just depends on if you're that person. Haven't seen the new Toulons this year yet. Probably Jim has, though. No, I've seen that they're just now working on the logo of the thing.
I think he's talking about the bags.
Oh,
A ton of new models.
oh, yeah. This dude knows so much about golf, it's crazy. Yeah, right.
Next one.
McGolf God. Oh, stop.
Next one.
Laughing at. Andrew says, my wife thinks she knows everything. McGolf God actually knows it now. Oh, jeez.
Next.
Andrew, I'm his wife. He knows a lot with help from me.
You'll leave on that note.
Peanut gallery is in full effect. Right there.
You're over. Time to
My wife, we got down to the bottom with that one. So I think it's time. Okay, guys, thank you so very much for watching. We went around the world yet again. Lots of great questions, lots of great discussions. I thought that was pretty cool. Again, thank you for asking the questions. And we really do like that. And again, watch out for the video. We'll be talking about how we took apart and put back together the new Apexes from Callaway's and turn them into something custom. And as always, guys, let's see your scores. Go low.